Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the final summer reading series book chat. We're talking to Regina Black today, the author of August Lane. Super excited to have this conversation. Regina's first time joining us on Diverse Spines. Can't believe summer is like coming to an end. It's very depressing. So, happening in DC today is the National Book Festival, hosted by the Library of Congress. I'm going to try to head down there after this conversation. I think Regina's already in there. So, I know we'll have a lot of people who will be watching this later. I've gotten a lot of messages because people are at the National Book Festival. But thank you guys for joining. Hey, Nikki Payne. Oh, there's Regina. I've pinned a link where you can get the book if you have not gotten the book. It is an amazing story. The audiobook is absolutely outstanding. Hello.
Hi,
How are you?
good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Today's a good
Good.
day
It
so
is.
far.
Of
So, thank you so much for joining us. I'm so excited
course.
to have you as a guest. First,
I'm so excited to be here. I love your account. I love Diverse Spines. So I was thrilled to get that
thank,
message. So,
thank you so
yeah.
much. So, I was just saying before I pinged you in was that the audiobook is so much fun.
It is. It's so great. I listened to it on an airplane. I was on a flight to New York and I was crying. And I was like, why am I crying? I've read this book so many times. I wrote the book. I've read it so many times. What is happening? And it was just for me, it was just a different experience. It was just they did such a great job with it.
They did
So,
such a phenomenal job. I mean, just
yes.
the transitions, the voices, the music. It was just
Yes,
a lovely experience. And I'm
it
everyone
was.
I see people on Instagram and they're posting like, you've got to listen to the audiobook. I know you have the book, but you
Mhm.
have to listen to the audiobook because it is
Yes,
fantastic.
it is so great. I was so excited when I heard they were doing the full cast. So
Hmm.
for those that don't know, it's a full cast audiobook. And
Yes.
so that thrilled me. And then I found out, like, they send us the voices for our, like, auditions, and but there were no names on them. And when I heard the August auditions, like I knew Bonnie Turner's voice. Like,
Yes. I
yeah,
mean, classic
yeah,
queen.
it's classic. And so I was
Yes.
like, I already know who I'm picking. um, and but I did not recognize January's voice.
Oh,
Because she did
yeah.
such a great job with the Southern accent and stuff. I just
Hmm.
remember thinking, this woman is phenomenal. She is perfect. And then William, I wasn't familiar with,
Hmm.
but he does such a fantastic job with Luke.
Yeah,
Like,
it's just
just
outstanding.
outstanding. So,
It really
yes.
is. So I'm gonna do a brief intro. I'm gonna let you tell
Okay.
the folks about yourself.
Okay.
You have a very interesting background, and
Thanks.
uh, yes. So you guys, this is our final book chat for the summer and our summer reading series. And I'm Jamise. I am the founder of Diverse Spines. I'm also over on Spines and Vines, and I am thrilled for the first time to have Regina Black with us. Um, with this her sophomore novel, August
Yes.
Lane, and it is outstanding. It's such a,
Thank
I
you.
mean, perfect
Thank
timing for
you.
everything that's going on. And it's just
Yeah.
like the perfect book. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you have the floor, introduce yourself, and then we'll jump into some questions.
Yeah, my name's Regina Black, and I am the author. My debut was The Art of Scandal, and this is my second book, August Lane. I am a voracious romance reader. I've been reading it my whole life, but I just love books in general. I am from the South. I am originally from Arkansas. I grew up in a small town, and I am a former litigator. And now I'm a dean of students at a law school, and I write books in my spare time. So, yeah,
Wow. So you're a dean of students at a law school.
yeah, yes.
And so my first question before we even start, so how did you come in from your background in law
Hmm.
decide, you know what, I'm going to write a book or I want to write a book? Because I know you said you're a huge romance reader. So how did
Yeah.
you go there?
So I've been writing like most of my life. I started
Hmm.
writing fiction and stories when I was like in third grade. So I used to write poetry, short stories, all kinds of things, and I never really stopped. Um, but I always say, like, I'm a writer, but I was always felt like a reader first because I read so much. I was
Hmm.
like 8 books a week. Like, it
I love
was.
that.
Yeah, that reading is my first love. It's my ultimate love. If I'm not reading a book, I don't feel like myself. And so it never occurred to me that I wouldn't eventually tell my own stories because I love stories so much and I love storytelling so much. And so I started writing like I said years ago. I think I wrote my first book in like '06 or
Hmm.
so. And I posted online. I did a lot of online writing, like posting my fiction online, writing fan fiction, things like
Okay.
that. And so over the course of maybe like a decade, I probably wrote like 10 books at least. And it never occurred to me to try to get published. Like it never
Really?
occurred to me. Yeah, I was writing. I loved writing. I would post my stories, people loved them, and that was it for me. And then I started I stopped writing, had a family,
Hmm.
started a family. And but I always was like, I'm gonna come back to it. When I came back to it, it was 2019 or so, right before the pandemic. And during the pandemic, I was like, let me teach myself how to write again. And so I went to my old unfinished stuff and found the first few chapters of The Art of Scandal, and was like, oh, this was fun. Like, what? Yeah, I forgot I was working on this. And so I just worked on it to kind of teach myself how to write a book again.
Hmm.
And I put everything in that book that I love about soaps because I was like, this feels soapy. So I'm just going to lean into
Yes.
that, right? No expectation that it would go anywhere because at the time romantic comedies were super like the
Hmm.
only thing anybody wanted was rom-coms back then. And this I was like, this is not a rom-com. Nobody's gonna want this
No, it's
book.
not.
And so I was and so I actually got into Pitch Wars, which is a mentorship program that's no longer with us, but
Hmm.
it was a pretty big program. Applied to that with no expectation of getting in. Um, I just wanted feedback and I ended up getting in. And then I got like 8 agent offers for that book. And then it sold fairly quickly. And all of that was like everything was a shock because I didn't go into any of it really believing that was going to happen or that was going to be
Yeah.
my debut. So it was just if like and the response to the art scandal was a surprise because like I
It was
said,
amazing.
yeah, I was like, wait, I thought y'all wanted rom-coms. Like what?
Yeah.
So that was a wonderful surprise. And it was kind of like this very pure experience of I just wrote this book because I love this story and I wanted to have a good time and people enjoyed it, which is so amazing. But then you got to write the next book.
Yes.
And this is a little different than
I was
that
gonna, so
one.
that was like my question. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, so first of all, Art of Scandal,
Yes.
fantastic book.
Thank you.
I mean, how could it not be great? I mean, the way you open this book with the mistext
Yeah.
going to the wrong
Yeah.
person, I was like,
Yeah.
oh, this is gonna be
Yeah.
good, you know?
That's exactly what I thought when I read it. I was like, this is gonna be so fun. Let's go.
Politics and all the
Yeah.
things. I was like, okay, this is my kind of
Yes.
thing. But
Yeah.
you start with that book, and then you go
Hmm.
to August Lane
Yes.
and Second Chance Romance,
Yeah.
but it delves into so much.
Hmm.
And I mean, literally, I'm sure you've heard this 1,000 times. I
Yeah.
just instantly thought, like, of course, Cowboy Carter and
Right.
how
Yeah.
Beyonce was treated and all the things
Hmm.
and the stories that are hidden that we don't know, or the people that are forgotten that kind
Hmm.
of set the trail for other
Yeah.
country artists, right?
Hmm.
And I want to know, what was your trajectory of like coming from Artist
Hmm.
Scandal to August Lane? Like, why did you want
Yeah.
to tell this story?
Yeah, so I actually started writing this before the Art of Scandal got picked up.
Oh,
Like, so I finished the Art of Scandal and I was going on a submission for that book, waiting for someone to write. And in the meantime, I was like, well, I gotta keep busy. I've got to write something. And I always had this nugget of an idea I think I've said this a few times, like the original nugget of this book, or original idea was from a song, like an old song from Ben Folds called Belinda. And in that song, I think it came out like 15 years ago. And in that song, it's a guy that's singing about the fact that he's got this one hit, and it's the only song anybody wants to hear from him, and it's about a woman he cheated on. And it's like every time he just has to sing the song.
Hmm.
And I remember hearing that and going, this sounds awful. Like it sounds like an awful situation to be
Hmm.
in. And then I thought this would make a wonderful, amazing romance book. And so I kind of had that in the back of my mind. So when I had to go, okay, what am I going to write if my first book doesn't sell? Like I need to write
I
something
got you.
different. And I remembered that idea. And so I started playing around with it. This was in like 2021. And that was around the time where country music Nashville had started reckoning or wanting to look
Hmm.
like they were reckoning
That part,
with
yeah.
their history.
Yeah.
And so there was just a lot out there. Like I stumbled over upon Reese Palmer's radio show Color Me Country, and I was listening to that and
Hmm.
discovering all these artists that I didn't even know existed. And then Linda Martell was received an Equal Play Award from from CMT,
Hmm.
and I saw that and thought, who is Linda Martell? Like,
Yes.
and so I looked her up and read about her, and that is really what made me go, this is what I want to write about,
Mm.
because I was a little angry at the fact that I did not know who this person was.
Yeah.
And I really felt like the only reason I knew who she was is because of the Black Lives Matter protests and people scrambling to actually rewrite history a little bit
Hmm.
and pretend like they always considered her a pioneer
Right.
when they
Did
didn't.
not. Hmm.
Um, and so that is what made me decide to write about that subject back then. And it just felt right because it felt very personal to me because I grew up in Arkansas. I grew up in a small town. Country music was always a part of my life, but it was never something that I felt comfortable like talking about or connecting with people with because it was like you love this thing that isn't supposed to be for you. And
Hmm.
to then discover, oh wait a minute, not only is it for you, but you invented it, like these are
Yes.
your chords, this is your history. That just really resonated with me, so all of that is in this book.
And doesn't it make you angry though? Because every time I
Yes.
think about it, it just ticks me off.
It does, but it's one of those things like you get angry, but you're
Hmm.
also a little like, well, of course, right?
Right.
Because just about everything, particularly in American history, if you
Hmm.
dig deep enough, we're always there because we built this country, and
Hmm.
so there's gonna be some aspect of our history that's just woven into the fabric of this country in all these different ways, and like even I'm working on a new book now, and it's the exact same thing. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And that's the thing. Every time I work in politics, so that's another whole thing. So reading books and
Mhm.
just having people unearth these things,
Yeah.
it means a lot because if
Hmm.
we didn't have writers like you, doing the history and
Yeah.
finding these things, just think no matter what people try to take away or rewrite, we have the books that
Yeah.
tell us the
Hmm.
facts, right? And
Yes.
so thank you for that because you are absolutely right that you could go through many things and we are woven into the fabric.
Yep.
It's just there. We are pretty probably more likely than not the foundation of
Yeah.
a lot of things that are out there. So I heard, and I could correct me if I'm wrong, talk about the structure of August Lane.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Th-
Yeah. That was fun.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because I heard is it someone said something about it's structured like a country song. Is
Hmm.
that true? Okay.
Yes. Yep. It is my version. So when I sat down to write this, I knew I couldn't write like a behind the scenes book from a place of like personal experience with being in
Hmm.
that industry. I'm not a musician. I've never been in that industry. So I wrote it as someone kind of came at it from like a fan perspective and also just someone that loves that music. And I studied the structure of it and the themes of it and the history of it. And so I decided to write a story that embodies country music, but
Hmm.
with Black voices. So when you read it, so many people have read the story and they're like, oh, it's really sad. And I'm like, have you listened to country music? Country music is
It's very
very
sad.
sad.
Yes.
And so, like a lot of the things that happen, the archetypes, the story beats,
Hmm.
the thematic, like coming home, the
Yes.
regrets, the first love, like the drinking, like all of those things are country music tropes. And I
Hmm.
wanted to kind of embody that with these characters in a Black Southern rural setting and
Yes.
with their voices. So that's one of the reasons, like as I was writing, I went, oh yeah, I'm writing a country song, which is why it ended up being divided into the different parts of a
Which I
song.
love. I
Yeah.
mean, the
Yeah.
second verse, the lift, the
Hmm.
bridge.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, love, love, love that.
Right. Thank
Um,
you.
and so just talk a little more, like, I want to know, which I found interesting. I love the podcast element of it.
Hmm. Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
talk because August is not August, JoJo is doing this podcast. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, and that actually came later. So
Hmm.
it wasn't in the first draft. The first draft had a different element that my editor was like, "This is cute, but no." And I said, "Fine, it's fine. It doesn't work." But I knew I wanted to have some component that actually commented on the state of country music. Like I
Hmm.
wanted to have that voice in the book that actually like spoke to that because I interviewed Black women country musicians for this book, and I really wanted kind of their experience to be voiced through the book, but I didn't want it
Yes.
to feel unnatural, like when
Hmm.
you're reading the story. And so I thought of doing the interview with JoJo because I don't want to give spoilers away, but
Yes. No
like
spoilers.
yeah, she's kind of like this specter, like this thing that kind
Hmm.
of haunts the story and hovers over the story.
Hmm.
And that's what kind of gave me the idea to have an interview with her. So I wrote an interview with her, and it just came out of me and it flowed out of me so quickly that I said, "This is it. This is the way she kind of haunts this book, and this is the voice of Black women in country music that
Yeah.
kind of is woven through the book." So that is why that is there.
Yeah, I like the podcast. And I mean,
Yeah.
when I'm listening to the audiobook, it's just like the interviewer.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, it's
Yes.
classic.
Yes.
I
Yes.
mean, you
Yeah.
nailed it. It's just
Yeah.
classic. It's a different experience than reading it because I'm telling
Yeah.
you, people, if you listen to the audiobook and when it opens up with her talking and asking the question,
Hmm.
it's just, you can feel it.
Hmm. Yeah, and it was fun to kind of have that dynamic between them because
Hmm.
there's a generational aspect in it. I wanted to kind of have that like someone who the interviewer is obviously like really passionate about this subject and she's a
Hmm.
fan, but she has a very specific experience and JoJo has a very specific experience. And to kind of have that like that tension between them
Hmm.
come out in different places. Yeah, it was fun and really interesting to write that. So
Yes.
yeah.
Someone said they started with the audio and thought it was so creative. They enjoyed
Yeah.
it. It's really
Oh,
good.
I appreciate
Um,
that. Thank you.
so you said you interviewed Black country artists.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
what insight did they provide you that really transformed how you approach the book?
A lot of it was more, it was almost like it was confirmation for me. So there's a lot of overlap. When you are a Black creative, there's a lot of overlap in experience. So anytime you're going into a space where your voice is not like the dominant voice in that area, there's some experiences you're going to have just trying to be heard or trying
Hmm.
to stay true. And there's always this kind of voice in the back of your mind, like people going like, why do you bother? Why are you here? Why do you keep fighting? And I talked to them a lot about like why, like their reasons for continuing to persist.
Hmm.
And their answers are reflected kind of in the beginning where that interviewer was asking JoJo the exact same thing.
Hmm.
And like her answer was kind of like a combination of all their answers. It's like, I love this music. I
Hmm.
love, I can't imagine myself doing anything else. So it was fascinating to kind of just hear like their common, like their individual experiences, their common experiences, and kind of bring in this notion of like, this is how I survive in this industry.
Hmm.
This is how I view this industry. Here are my struggles, here are my triumphs, those types of things. And so it really was me listening a lot and hearing them and like hearing the emotion behind some of what they were saying. And
Yes.
that's kind of how I feel like I integrated it into the book.
Yeah.
So
Let's talk a little bit. We're not going to give anything away, but we
okay.
have to touch on the amazing characters in this book
Yeah. Yeah.
and give us a little bit of background on each one.
Yeah.
Because they're going to want to pick this. If they haven't read it,
Mhm.
they're going to want to read this because we have Luke, we have
Yeah.
JoJo, and we have August.
Yes. The first one that came to me very quickly was Luke.
Oh, okay.
Yes, because the book
Interesting.
is,
Okay.
yeah, he was the first one that came to me. Because the book is based on, like, I had that nugget from the song, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the first thing that came to me was, what must it be like to be, Luke at his core is just a good guy. He's a good
Yes.
person to his core. But what must it be like for someone like that to have their biggest success be based on like the biggest regret? And like the worst thing he ever did was to the person he loved most in the world. And what
Yes.
does that do to a man? And that was him in a nutshell for me. It was, and so many people, yes, there's kind of a redemption theme here, but I actually, when I was writing, I never thought of it as Luke's redemption. I always thought of it as his healing
Mm,
because he has experienced so much trauma in his life and
yes.
he made choices that wounded him deeply.
Mm-hmm.
And it's him getting, his journey is basically going back and doing these things on a path to like healing these things that he did to himself that were done to him. Um, and then forgiveness is a big theme, but that's for all the characters.
Yes, for all of them.
Yes, and it looks different for everybody. So
Mm-hmm.
that was Luke in a nutshell. Jojo is a combination of Tina Turner and Vanessa Williams.
Interesting. Okay.
Yes. So
I get okay.
yes, the Vanessa Williams came in with the beauty queen aspect of
I
her.
got it.
I read her memoir. It's so good. I was
Mm-hmm.
fascinated by it. And this sense of a woman who is in this space that like she's a pioneer in that place and like her kind of like having that happen, losing her crown and coming back and being recognized and that sort of thing. I loved that trajectory. So I kind
Mm-hmm.
of took inspiration from her background to develop JoJo. And with Tina Turner, it was her voice. It's Tina's voice. Like I listened to a lot of documentaries with her, interviews, and she has this kind of unapologetic, yes, these things happened to me, and this is how I survived.
Yes.
And she's very like, if you bring up Ike or you would bring up those things, you could tell she was like this again. Like, why do I
Right.
have to talk about this? And but she would talk about it and just kind of her determination to be like, this is who I am. I'm a rock singer. You can call me whatever you want,
Mm-hmm.
but this is what I've always been. So those were the voices that kind of like inspired JoJo for me. And that's kind of what you hear in the podcast.
Yes.
Um, August was hard. She was the hardest. Yeah,
August.
she was the hardest character. It took me a while to figure her out
Mm-hmm.
because I knew I didn't want her to respond to what happened in kind of like your typical way. I did not want her to look in the mirror and go, I'm a victim.
Mm-hmm.
And like when she came to me, I was like, this girl is prickly. She has edges, but I didn't
Yes.
understand her until I figured out like what deep down she wanted. And August is just a girl that was never wanted. Like she was a child
Yeah.
that wasn't wanted in her mind. Like she knows exactly kind of, her mom left her with her grandmother. And so she has those abandonment issues. And she is someone who deep down just really wants to be loved. but
Yes.
doesn't expect to be loved. And
She's
so
got a lot going on though in all
she
aspects.
does.
Like the
Yeah.
mom, the man, the town.
Yes.
She has a
Yeah.
lot going on.
She does, but like she just kind of goes through life like I'm going to reject all this before everyone before they can reject me.
Hmm.
Because she knows deep down that she's very susceptible to kindness and love. And
Hmm.
so she kind of sets herself apart and has this prickly persona because she's like, this is the only way I can survive this. Um, so yeah, I always think of her, she's that girl that gets left behind. That's how she
Hmm.
sees herself. Yeah.
Yeah, they're so well done. They really
Thank
are.
you.
Let's talk about the setting and the structure because
Oh yeah.
this town is a character in itself.
It is. Yeah. Yeah, that
Arcadia.
was Arcadia. Arcadia is a mixture. So I love making up fictional settings.
But they say if you've been anywhere in the South, or
Yes.
I went to college in the South. It was a bigger
Okay.
town, but I
Yeah.
still my family is from the South,
Hmm.
and I've never went to high school there. I only went to college right
Hmm.
there. But I just like the whole being in the high school and all that.
Hmm.
It's very familiar.
Yes, yes. So it was based on my hometown, which was about 7,000 people.
Hmm.
And Helena, West Helena in Arkansas. It's in Southeast Arkansas.
Hmm.
And that is a predominantly Black small town. They are known for their blues festival.
Hmm.
But they also, it's one of those towns that was thriving and now it's struggling. And so I kind of combined that town with my experiences growing up in a small town. And my town was like Arcadia in that there used to be all these different high schools and things. A lot of smaller schools that were in the parts of towns that Black students used to go to, and white students went to, the high school in the county seat, and they started closing those Black schools, and all those students started having to go to this new school. So I wrote that
Yes.
in this book. And so, yeah, like just kind of that what it's like to live in a town where you are who you are at birth. Like everyone knows everything about you.
Hmm.
And then once they decide who you are, that's who you are. And trying to shake it is like impossible.
Hmm.
There's a line in the book where she goes like, street names aren't something you can ever shake off in a town this size, and that is kind of a nod towards that. And that is kind
Hmm.
of what she's up against, and all these characters are up against in some way.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And talk a little bit about how you're addressing addiction,
Hmm.
grief,
Yeah.
um, you engaging in all these hard truths, but yet there
Mhm.
is romance.
Right. Right. Um, that's it never occurred to me not to write about those things. Like I
Hmm.
said, like I knew what kind of story I was writing. And when I sit down to write a book, my primary goal is to be as honest as I can when
Hmm.
I'm writing. I don't enjoy reading things that I don't feel like are approached that way. And the way I approach this book is to be honest about like who these people were and what they
Hmm.
might have experienced and what those experiences are like. When I decided that Luke was a guy that struggled with addiction, I didn't want to be anything other than honest about that. But
Right.
about what that's like, what that looks like in the past, and what it might look like when he's in recovery.
Right.
And also like the trauma that characters suffer, like how it actually looks and what are the actual impacts
Hmm.
of trauma on someone. But I actually like doing that in a romance setting because romance is inherently hopeful.
Hmm. It
And
is.
so I always feel like I'm writing kind of I call it like a roadmap to happiness. Like these are things that people experience. There are people in my family who have gone through these things. Um, but there is a path to healing
Hmm.
and happiness, and it's not going to be perfect. It doesn't look perfect. I know my endings don't. necessarily look like maybe as tidy as everyone would like them to.
I wasn't going to
But
say anything.
well, it's a romance, so they end up together. It's a happily ever after ending, like in
Right.
a romance. But I it's a happy ending that feels honest and true to me. So
And it's painful to get there. Like, I
yeah,
think that's the thing.
yeah,
So when
yeah,
your truths come out so well on the page that
yeah,
we got to go through all of this
yes,
to
yeah,
get
yeah,
there. And
yeah,
so you
and
take the reader through all of it.
yes, and it's a slow burn. So if you don't like slow burns,
I'm
I'm
like,
so
I'm going through
sorry.
all this. If I don't get to
It's
the end and this is
I
what I
know,
want, I have
like
to call her.
it's a slow burn, and it's like the story. The burn for my stories is the setup, the characters, the dynamic, what's happened. It
Yes.
dictates the burn because as I'm writing, I'm like, I need to get them there. They have so much to work through before I feel like it's believable that they get there. And so with these, I didn't know when they would finally get there until I was writing the book, and then I got there and I was like, yeah, I think they're ready. Like
Okay.
we made it.
Did
um
anything, I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, it's okay. Yeah.
Did anything surprise you while you were writing the book? Like, did anything like, especially,
Um
especially as it relates to ownership, right? Because
yeah.
it doesn't say, okay, I can say this because I'm like, I don't want to give
Okay.
anything away because,
Yeah.
Luke is basically took a song that someone else wrote and claimed it
Hmm.
as his own.
Right.
So,
Right. Um, when you say surprised me as I wrote,
surprising as far as character development
oh yeah.
as it relates to real life, because people do steal people's works.
Yeah.
And
I wouldn't necessarily say, I mean, so I'm a big outliner, I'm a big planner.
oh, good. I like that.
Yeah, I'm very, but the characters tend to surprise me in general, like
Hmm.
with just kind of like when I'm writing, like I'm in the scene and what they say and what they do. Um, I'm trying to talk about this without giving spoilers away.
Okay.
Um, I knew when certain things would come out.
Hmm.
Like, yeah, I knew when certain things. I wasn't sure how, though. I wrestled with that. Like, how is this going to unfold? And his choices, like what got him there was a surprise. Like some of his choices, like his healing journey, I think was more of a surprise than August's
Hmm.
journey. Um, how the storyline plays out with JoJo was not a surprise at all to me. I
Yeah.
always knew that that was going to turn out the way it did. I
Hmm.
think some of the stuff in the past, there is a subplot in the past about reproductive rights
Hmm.
that I was hesitant. That's the only thing in the book I think that I was actually kind of hesitant to tackle. But once I kind of had this thought like this is the history of these women in the Lane family.
Hmm.
This is what they're grappling with. The way that played out was very organic and surprising, and just it was kind of like what naturally might happen between these three women because of this huge thing that happened. So
Yes.
yeah, I feel like too vague,
I
but
mean,
I
I
don't want to give it away.
see, and yeah, but you're right. Yes,
Yeah,
you can't give that away.
I
So
know.
yes, you can't give that away. So you guys,
Yeah,
um,
the history of the Lane family was something that kind of surprised me and how it ultimately rolled out. So,
yeah.
yeah.
Um, let's talk about JoJo. Because I mean, I
Okay.
think with everything I'm reading here lately, there's always a mother-daughter dynamic. I mean, it's a
Yeah,
complicated relationship.
it is.
Um, but when you said that you model her kind of after Tina Turner, it hit
Hmm.
me because how you said Tina Turner's like, well, this and that's the way it is. And that's how she interacted
Yeah.
with August.
Yes, that's who she was. And I love it when, so I don't like, generally when I write a character, I don't make them all good or bad, like all villainy, all. And I love taking this positive thing about JoJo, this thing that you would admire
Hmm.
about her, and reframing it for how she interacts with her daughter and her
Yes.
family. And it just, to me, it just made her feel like a person, like this is a whole person. And like reading her from August's point of view in the past, it's almost like you're reading about someone else to a certain
Hmm.
extent, because that is absolutely very close narrative. This is August's view of her mother, and this was her, interaction with her mother, which is why her in the present day they're not talking in the contemporary timeline. But then also you realize, you have to realize JoJo's podcast is taking place like a year after the present timeline. So all
Hmm.
of this stuff has happened. And so in the past, that's like more than a decade in the past. So
Hmm.
she is kind of a different person in those
Yeah.
scenes. But you do see that common personality trait of hers, that
I
she's
couldn't
very
decide.
kind of, yeah,
I'm like, am I supposed to like this lady or am I not supposed to like this lady?
just supposed to understand her.
We listen and
Like,
we don't
yeah, I
judge.
mean, I really feel like with JoJo was me kind of grappling with what it's like when you have this woman who did not want to be a mother,
Mm,
and but loves her daughter,
correct.
right? And so she's grappling with that. You see that in the book.
Hmm.
And she's very unapologetic about herself. She is very open-eyed and clear-eyed about like who she is, what she is to August, and how she
Hmm.
failed her daughter.
Hmm.
And so I don't know that you're necessarily supposed to like her, but you're supposed to understand her and see her and understand the impact that she had on August. So
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah, she was interesting.
yeah,
Yeah, I had
she's
to find,
divisive.
yeah, I found myself going back, and reading things over just because I felt like I was like, okay, wait a minute, let me go back and see. So yeah, she was difficult for me, but
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's interesting because I have some people that like are just like, no, JoJo can't stand her. And then there are other people that are like, oh my gosh, I just wish there was so much more JoJo.
Mm,
So I feel like I did my job because
yeah,
I felt like she was always gonna be like this divisive figure. And she was for me too when I was writing her. I was like, this woman is a lot. But
yes,
she was fascinating to me. So yeah.
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 Um, let's talk about I because I love Luke. I really enjoyed Luke. I really enjoyed
Yeah.
August too.
Yes.
But he's been gone for a while.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we
Yeah.
can talk about what brings him back, right?
Of course. Yeah, that's
Okay,
in
so
the, yeah.
so tell people like he's been gone from
Right.
for 16 years?
Like 13 years.
13. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So he's been gone for 13 years. So he left. He left unexpectedly. He went to Nashville to be on a reality show called
Mm,
Nashville Star, or it not called Nashville Country Star.
that's-
It's based on Nashville Star,
mhm.
and called Country Star. And he competed on that when he was like 17 years old. And that is where he, for the first time, sang the song that August wrote for him and claimed ownership of it. Like he sang it during a songwriting segment. And that song made him famous. He didn't win it, but he got like third place, like in the semifinals. And it just kind of propelled his kind of like brief but very public career as a country singer, kind of being this like bro country guy.
Yes.
And but then he didn't do anything else. Like that was the only song that anyone knew. His albums were a flop. He had a substance abuse problem, and he got sober 5 years before the present. Um, but he's singing in dive bars in Memphis.
Yes,
doing covers and things, and then all anybody wants to hear is the
that
song he
song.
stole.
Mm.
But he gets this second chance at stardom because JoJo Lane, August's mother, is being inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame. She's the first Black woman to be inducted, which, as far as I know, that still hasn't happened. Um, so she's the
Yeah.
first Black woman being inducted. They're from the same town. So her manager finds him and is like, she wants you to open for her and sing your only hit. But the concert is in Arcadia, his hometown, because she wants to do it when they have their annual music festival. So he has to go back and face everything that he ran away from.
Yeah.
So yeah,
It's an amazing. Someone
yeah,
said that the characters are so multidimensional, which is
yeah,
it's they really, really are. And,
yeah, yeah. No,
and
I'm
you
very
said you're
much a, I'm
go ahead.
sorry.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, like, I'm very much a character focused writer. When I sit down and tell stories, characters come first. So that is a big compliment.
Yes, we can
Yeah.
tell for
Yeah.
sure. You said that you were a planner, that you
Hmm.
outline. It's
Hmm.
so evident in the book.
Yeah.
Like if you, I mean, listen to the audiobook. I highly
Yeah.
recommend that you do both. I did it the same, but
Yeah.
looking at the book in the way that you definitely know that you're outlining. You can
Oh,
tell.
yeah. I
Yeah.
am very spreadsheets, all of that stuff.
Uh-huh.
Lots of research, lots of planning, lots of like looking at kind of a macro view of the book, and in addition to a micro view, I write in a lint, like I have to write from beginning to end. I don't write out of order because everything builds
Oh.
on the thing that comes before it. um so yes, I'm very big on story structure and
Hmm.
storytelling. And so everything is very intentional. So yeah.
How have you felt to the way that people have been responding to the book? Because it's on the USA Today bestseller list. I
I
mean, it's
was
like
shocked.
all the things. How are you shocked? It's like so good.
I was shocked. So this is one of the, everybody talks about writing the book of your heart. This is absolutely like a heart book for me
Hmm.
because it's so close to who I am, and I just loved it so much. And it went through a few things, like I wasn't sure anybody was going to read it. Like notice it was out there. Yeah, I mean, it's, publishing is interesting. There's a lot of
Hmm.
turnover and things. And so a lot of the, like this book, my first editor, um, love her. She went to another imprint
Hmm.
before my first one published. And then I got a second editor who I also loved that worked on this one, and she also left.
Oh
And
wow.
so it was a little like, oh, my little orphan book. Like, so it was really nerve-wracking. And I also didn't know how people were going to respond to it because it is different from the artist scandal. Um, and it does deal with like heavy themes, and the structure is different. So you just never know like how people are going to respond to something like that. But when people started reading it and having reactions to it, it meant so much to me because I love this book so much. And
Yeah.
just to have people telling me how much they love August and they love Luke and it made them cry, and like even if they hate JoJo, like just all these feelings, it was wonderful. And I absolutely did not expect it to list at all. Like it's not like one of those big splashy releases. So even seeing it on that list, it was amazing, like just completely unexpected. I didn't even check the list. Like,
Really?
yeah, I didn't even check the list because I was like, no, that's like my $30 hardback. Like, no way.
Oh, when I saw it, I was like, oh my, I think I shared it immediately. I saw it early in the
Yeah,
morning and I was like, oh my gosh, that's like
yeah.
amazing.
It was amazing. I think Reese Nelson sent it to me, and I was just like, is this real? Like, did you
Yeah.
make this? And so that was shocking. And then the New York Times article came out, and that was,
I think I
I'm
tagged you because
still,
I saw that early in the morning too. I'm like, oh
oh
wow.
gosh. It's again, you just kind of go from on the front end being like, oh, this book is gonna kind of like be this small book. Maybe people will like it and no one will know it exists, to those things happening, I still kind of haven't wrapped my brain around that.
Yeah.
But it makes me so happy, particularly that it's this book, because I love it so much and it means so much to me. So
Yeah, we can feel the love. I know I could feel the love
yeah,
in reading it, but I think from
yeah,
everything from the planning, like I mean, you have a playlist, you have
hmm,
a reading guide. It's
yeah,
just
yeah,
all the things that went along
yeah,
with this book. So there's so much care
yeah.
into how everything was packaged.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and a lot of that was me. I was fortunate to that my publisher kind of just went with it.
Hmm.
Like, I just it was so clear in my mind like what this book was.
Yeah.
And, Beyonce coming out really also
It,
like
the stars aligned. And I
yes.
didn't want to lean in too heavy on that, be saying that, but
Yeah.
it's just like in a time when she was really getting a lot of
Hmm.
backlash and not being treated
Yeah.
properly, even before,
Yeah.
back when she was at CMT,
Right. Yes.
that
Yeah.
whole debacle. And
Right.
then this album coming out and her
Hmm.
winning, and then the book. And I'm just like, oh
Yeah.
my gosh, this is so perfect.
Yeah, so many people say a lot of publishing is luck, and I am like it's a combination of two things. It's a combination of being prepared.
Hmm.
So being prepared in terms of the book is there, the story is there, it's ready
Yes.
for people to read, like, but also that luck is Beyonce showing up at the Grammys with a cowboy hat on.
Yes.
Um, who knew? Like I saw that and I was just like doing edits when that happened, and I was like,
Yeah.
please let this be what I think it is. So, and it
Because you knew
was.
this is coming
I
out.
knew. I was
This is
like,
coming out. This would be so
yeah,
perfect.
the book is ready. So I'm
Yes.
very grateful for her. And I know that a lot of the reason it's like people were primed for this story in a
Hmm.
way. And like they were reading it and they were connecting with it in a deeper way because we have had that conversation. So like, in the previous year, like leading up to this book coming out. So that was fantastic. I'm
Yeah.
so grateful for that.
I love the
Yeah.
cover.
Oh, yeah.
So I want to know, did you have any input on the cover? And then
Yes.
how did you come up with the title?
So the cover, so they usually kind of have an idea of what kind of cover you're going to get.
Hmm.
So they sent me a few covers with couples on them.
Hmm.
And I said, these are beautiful. However, these people are wearing sweaters and scarves.
Oh yeah,
And
no.
I was
Oh
like,
yeah.
this is in August in Arkansas. Like, no, it's not going to work. But I had also sent them a brief and said it's okay to do a single woman on a single person on the cover. And I gave them reasons like, it's common for Black romances to have single figures on them. So my readers would be used to that because I think they were concerned people would not think it was a romance. And I was like, well, this is a romance. I don't think that people are going to assume it's not just because there's a single person on it, but
Yes.
also it is very much, like August, it's an August story. And so they sent me a few more with single women, and they sent me this one with this photograph, the black and white photograph on it.
Uh-huh.
And me, my agent and I both at the same time were like, that's it, that's it, that's the that's
Yeah.
the photo. And then the typeface, this font was on a different cover that they had sent. I was like,
Hmm.
that photo, that font, and that is how the cover ended up being born.
Yes.
Um, so the name was interesting because the original name was something a little more generic. It was
Hmm.
like something about with a love song in it. It might have been another love song, something like that. And then a book came out that had that title because that's
Yes.
as what happens. And so then I switched. I was like, I switched it to the Ballad of August Lane. And then I was working on it and I said, you know what? I think this should be just August Lane. Because I think August Lane sounds like so many things. It sounds like an album title. It sounds like a group. It sounds
Hmm.
like, Lane is a road home. Like it
Yes.
just, yeah. And so that's where the title ended up coming from. So
Yeah, I
yeah.
remember when I first saw it and then I got the arc and I was like, this is absolutely gorgeous. And
Yeah.
it was different.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
different. The black and
Yeah.
white, and I was like,
Yeah.
this is really different.
So one of my so my the editor that worked on this, we were talking about covers, and one of the things she mentioned is the posters for A Star Is Born.
Hmm.
Yeah, and so
Yes.
we both love those, and those have the black and white with the
Hmm.
gold. And so I feel like she wasn't there by the time we started doing covers, but I feel like a lot of what they were sending me was based on her brief. So that's Rachel Kelly. She's at Dutton now. But she had big role in how this ultimately came together too.
Yeah,
So, but yeah,
it looks good.
yeah, I love
It's
it.
very pretty. It
Yes,
looks
I
really
love
good.
it.
Yes, front facing out, it looks really good.
Yes,
It does.
yeah, yep, I love it.
So, tell me if you can,
Mm.
uh, what's next? I mean, it's hard to
Oh,
think. It's hard to think about what's next, I'm sure, but you're
it,
probably planning
I
already.
don't, yeah, I don't know.
Oh,
Like,
okay. That's
it's,
good. You're enjoying.
yeah,
Okay, good.
I'm not
'Cause-
totally, so I am working on stuff, but I'm
mhm,
not sure what's gonna ultimately end up coming out next. The stuff I'm working on something shorter that's like contemporary. I'm working on another longer one that's research
mhm,
intensive that is, a little bit different for me, but it's also me. The only thing I can say is it's like a marriage in trouble, but it's my take on a marriage in trouble.
mhm.
Um, and yeah, like that's all I can say. I'm one of those superstitious writers that's like
Yes, I
I don't
get
want
it.
to like the magic happens when no one knows about it, and then you can yeah. So,
I'm curious. I have one more question. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to answer or not, but from readers from all types of backgrounds, right?
mhm.
And having this conversation globally about who belongs in country and who doesn't belong in
Yeah.
country, and then with the Grammys separating the categories now
Hmm.
because of the
Right.
Beyonce effect. Um, have you had any type of reaction or feedback from white writers right readers as it relates to learning more history about Black influence in country music?
Yeah, a little bit. I just got an email from a reader about that.
Really? Wow.
She said she was an 82-year-old white woman, and she was reading more diversely because she
Mhm,
wanted to just, educate herself. And she had read the book, and she just thanked me for writing it and was saying that she learned so much that she did not know about country music. And I have been tagged in a few reviews of people saying they listened to this music and they didn't know these things, and now they wanted to know more. And I do think that's good.
yeah,
Um,
it is.
I, I don't ever really write with the idea of like representation or teaching kind of in mind. But this book, I did have a little bit of that when it came to like country music history. I did
Hmm.
want to kind of talk about things that aren't talked about. So it does make me feel good to hear people are reading this book and their curiosity is growing, which is the most important thing, right? It's not necessarily like this is not a textbook. Like this is
Correct.
not the beginning and end of your education. It is the seed that plants the curiosity that further makes you go out and seek that information for yourself. And that's what I like.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I am so happy that you were able to join us. It's such a
Well,
great read. If you guys haven't
thank
read it,
you.
please. I can't wait to see what comes out next. But
Yeah.
congratulations on everything. This is such a
Thank you
phenomenal
so much.
book. And I so one last thing.
Yes.
Did you know that you were going to have a full ensemble cast, or did you think it was
No,
always? Oh, you did
no.
not. Okay.
I asked for it. Like I wrote an essay, like a little, they give you an audio brief, and I wrote like an essay going, this is why this should have it. And then I didn't hear anything until I got the auditions, and it was auditions for all four characters. And that's how I
Yeah.
found out. And that was like in April, I think. So I didn't know until they sent that to me, and I was thrilled. So
Yes. And
yeah,
that was definitely a winner for sure. But
yes.
it really was. And the
Thank
cast
you.
is outstanding again.
Oh,
But
yes.
anything you're reading that you want to share with us? Because you're a huge reader. And I always
Well,
like to take recs.
yes. I've got recs, like different recs. So I read there's a book coming out in a few weeks called Faster by Andy Christopher. And it is an F1 kind of romance, but it's like if you were like me, I grew up reading Jackie Collins books.
Ah,
Yeah. And
I
so
did.
this book is Jackie Collins inspired. She is
Okay.
very much she talks about it all the time. It's multiple couples, multiple romance books. It's
Because you just took
super,
me back. You took me
yeah,
back,
I know.
Jackie. Wow.
Look, that was formative for me.
Yes.
And this book is giving those vibes. So if
Mhm.
you like The Art of Scandal and you want something that's messy, but like much higher heat and just all that, that book is coming out in a few weeks. It's
Okay.
called
Faster.
Faster.
Okay.
So that's one. I just finished, I'm going to butcher the name of this book. It's a nonfiction book, Conjure. It has a long subtitle. Lindsay,
Conjuring of America.
I think yes, it's a
It's
green
green.
cover.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
I
Yes.
just
Yes.
finished that one. So good,
Hmm.
phenomenal. There was a piece on it in the Atlantic recently. Absolutely deserved. Absolutely
Hmm.
love that book. So those are two books I just read, and right now I'm reading Tara Shelton Harris's next book.
Just got
Um,
that. Is it
yeah,
where the
where the wildflowers bloom, I believe it's
yes.
called.
Uh-huh.
Beautiful cover. So I just started that. She's an amazing, amazing, amazing author. And so yeah, that is the book I'm currently reading and loving. So
Awesome. Awesome.
yes.
Well, thank you so much for spending a little bit of your Saturday with us. I'm so happy to have
Yeah.
you finally on Diverse Finds,
I
and I can't
appreciate
wait
it.
to have you back.
Yes, me
Guys,
too.
make sure
Thank you
you get
so
August
much.
Lane. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye.